Hey guys, Johnny FD made a live stream that I managed to come across, and I had to make a reply because I couldn't go past a certain statement he made. And I know Johnny is a well-meaning guy. I know he's got a good heart, and I know that he's also quite smart, and he's doing what he feels is right, but he is so misguided, and his words triggered me so much, especially with what's currently going on. Specifically, one thing that's hurt me so much is what's happening in the Azovstal plant and what's happening underneath there. That I can't let him get away with the things that he said. And what he said is that my type of propaganda, and he'll say it in this video, but I'm gonna go through some of the stuff that he says before that, and show you where my thinking is coming from. And in this video, he'll actually say at one point, I don't want to think or talk about that. And if you don't think and talk about these subjects, that's what caused Ukraine to get into the situation that they were in. That's what caused people to die. And that's what's causing people to die now. And that's what's inevitably, I think, is going to cause the people, the civilians, the innocent people at the Azovstal steel plant to die. It is not the type of propaganda I put out. It's the type of propaganda you support. It's this pro-Ukrainian, stupid, numpty, rah Ukraine, Putin is Putla and Hitler, and, Russia's evil and Ukraine has done nothing wrong and there's no Nazis here. All that fucking nonsense is what's making people die now. This ignorance of the situation, this lack of nuance of what's happening, this black and white thinking is what's causing people to die. Not my propaganda, okay, my type of propaganda, whatever I say, which is basically pointing out the facts that I cannot deny. And if you can correct me, if anybody wants to correct me, please, I'm begging you to tell me I'm wrong. I don't want to watch a video of Ukrainian soldiers and see Nazi symbology everywhere, constantly, all the time. And I'll show you all of this. You can't put a camera onto a Ukrainian soldier without some Nazi symbology coming up. And I'm sad to see that. But that's the real situation here. So I'm gonna get this video started. I'm gonna talk to him. Let him talk, and well, I know my viewership and audience isn't anywhere near compared to where his is, but I truly hope he hears my message, but I'm not holding out hope that he will change the narrative or go against the narrative, especially considering the fact that he's in Ukraine now, because he's gonna experience a very different type of Ukraine if he starts talking about nuances in the narrative instead of just screaming out Slava Ukraine and the Nazi slogan to everyone. But okay, let's get started.
Sorry, you don't have any experience, so we don't need you. But a lot of people doing other things. There's ways to help, either through volunteering or even just fighting propaganda, right? Which is rampant. If you ever checked the comments on my video, maybe I guess I can answer some of them here, because it's insane how many people still believe that I don't know, crazy things, right? Okay, the very first thing, are there Nazis in Ukraine? Is that what Russia is here to liberate?
All right, this is a video I saw today, and this is from Sky News. Hopefully you can see it. More than 250,000 views. And I'm like, okay, I'll look at this video and I think, okay, it can't be that every single video pretty much of Ukrainian soldiers there's going to be Nazi situation symbology. I was telling myself I can't. No, I'm just seeing things. So I noticed this tattoo first, and I thought, oh, I wonder what it is. That kind of looks like I'm like, no, I'm just telling myself this, And then I rewind this back a little bit, and I see this, the black sun. And here's a video. Again, I want people to understand what this is, because people don't know what the symbol is. But here's an explanation quickly.
Or right. The SS Totenkopf.
This black sun symbol, what's the actual history of that? What does it mean?
Heinrich Himmler, who's the leader of the SS, he was very into all this kind of neo-pagan kind of, very symbolic, esoteric symbolism. So in Wewelsburg Castle in Germany, he created... Which
is Himmler's castle, is it?
Yeah, he wanted it to be like a kind of Camelot for the SS. So for senior SS officers, he wanted, this to be their kind of nightly base where they'd perform various ceremonies and take over the world. Set in the floor of Wewelsburg Castle is this kind of giant marble mosaic of this symbol. It has no meaning. Like it isn't some kind of prior pagan symbol. It has no meaning or context outside.
So Himmler just designed it, did he?
Or someone designed it for him, but that's where it comes from. And it's since been taken on as a symbol of esoteric Nazism.
What does esoteric Nazism mean?
Esoteric Nazi ideology believes that Hitler was literally a deity. He was a god, and it worships Hitler as a kind of avatar of the divine.
So it's a religious movement, almost.
Yeah, basically. So it's like a very cult-like, occultic form of Nazism.
Okay. Buy me a fighter jet video. Unless you can tell me that this is some, Russian misinformation, that the Russian that made this video, here it is. I don't know. I don't know what else to show people. And I'm already tearing up because it's so frustrating for people to just not even admit the basic truth. And you can still admit the basic truth and be against Russia. You can still admit that there are Nazis in Ukraine, and they are embedded, especially in the military, and they have extreme control. Another symbol. So this is another documentary by the BBC. 3.5 million views. They're interviewing young soldiers and other soldiers. I'm not going to show it here. He's got also white supremacist symbology, but this is the SS symbol, basically the death's head. Not only worn by the SS, but specifically the ones who were guarding the concentration camps. And even the way that it's the tag that it's made. So these are this is the Azov battalion, the Wolf's Angel. This is where it comes from. So even I get so frustrated, trying to show people this again and again and again. If this was the video, okay, let's let Johnny speak a little bit more.
I can definitely 100% tell you there are less Nazis in Ukraine than there are in Russia. There's less Nazis in Ukraine than there are in the U.S. or Canada or I don't know, name a country. There's definitely ultra nationalist people, and they are literally in every single army. The U.S. Army, it has, super prideful Americans. They're America's best. Fuck yeah, we are the best. And unfortunately, there's some of them probably don't like Mexicans, right? Or don't like black people, or don't like whatever. But it's such a small minority that for a country to bomb all of Canada just because the Proud Boys are from there, it's just an excuse.
This is the one thing I do agree with Johnny with. The fact that it's just simply Nazis in Ukraine, which is a fact, an overwhelming fact. Hopefully people need to get into their brains that it's a fact, regardless of which side you want to be on after this. It's a fact you have to understand. I do agree that it isn't the reason why Putin is attacked. I don't think Putin gives a shit about the Nazis. I think he's most likely to make a deal with the Nazis for Ukraine if it suits Russia's purposes. So that's my point of view. I agree with Johnny here that it isn't the reason. But that's not to deny what's happening in Ukraine.
So it's it's weird. I never wanted to talk about it or make a big video out of it because it's better just to ignore these, propagandists or these haters
Yeah, it's better to ignore the reality. It's better to ignore facts. Is it?
Not haters. I mean, I don't know what the word is. 'Cause a hater is just like, is annoying. A propagandist is someone who is literally putting lives at risk, or people will die from this, you know?
And that's what triggered me. Him saying that people will die because of the things that I say. How is that gonna happen? From me exposing these things, from me talking about that the current people in the Azovstal plant who are holding these, this is the video they put out of kids, to make you feel bad about the people trapped there. And look, they've succeeded. I feel fucking terrible. I feel so upset for the people here. And if you listen to this video, these people have been lied to. And some of the kids are ignorant, they'll go and they'll shake the soldier's hand. It's all very interesting to them. But some of the parents, they know, they understand what's happening, the back of their heads. And they just want to leave. And these pieces of shit, the Azov battalion that's hailed up as heroes in the West because of this narrative that Ukraine can do nothing wrong and Russia is evil and Russia is Hitler, because we ignore facts, like Johnny said, because we don't want to talk about them, these people have free reign. These people are using these children, women, and fathers that are trapped there, innocent civilians, as human shields because they want to save their own skin. So that's the kind of heroes Ukraine has. That's the heroes Ukraine is holding up now. And now, like, this isn't confirmed, but there are stories coming out now that the family was able to sneak out of this plant. Now, I can't confirm this 100%, but if this is true, I hope it is true. That family says that they used the communication, they found a radio somewhere, and they picked up on a broadcast that the Russians were putting out that told them that there was a green corridor at a certain time that they could leave the plant at. Now, that interview, if this is true, could be Russian propaganda, could be false, 100% agree. I don't know the facts yet, but if this is true, this is going to be groundbreaking. And I pray Johnny talks about the story, but I know he won't. I know that in the position that he's in, it's much more convenient to be ignorant and to not talk about these issues, like he says that he wants to do. But these are the lives that are at stake. It's not from my propaganda, it's from your propaganda, from your ignorance of these facts, of the people that are hiding in this basement now, using these people as human shields. It's that kind of propaganda, that ignorance, that is causing people to die, that has caused the war in Ukraine, that is causing the war in Ukraine to go on, and that the war now has managed to reach a stage like, so I'll show you this. This is the...
Молдове может быть очень крупно неприятно.
This is the... I'm tearing up. I can't watch this video. Hold on. This is the advisor, the military advisor to the president currently, talking about invading Transnistria.
И лучшее, что может сделать в этом смысле Молдова, как мне кажется, это обратиться за помощью к Украине и Румынии.
Румынии.
Ну, безусловно, это же один народ, по сути.
Ну, я понимаю, Румыния страна НАТО.
Да, многие в Молдове мы могли бы возразить, потому что есть такая позиция у многих в Молдове, что мы отдельный народ, но язык-то точно одинаковый, как минимум, а там посмотрим. Допустим, молдовский народ отдельный, страна отдельная, тут никаких этих самых, полностью согласен, но то, что румыны близкий к ним народ и наверняка захотят вступиться, мы как бы предполагаем. А Румыния, да, страна НАТО, страна ЕС, тут может быть совсем весело.
Right. This is the Ukrainian government pushing something they've been trying to do from the very beginning, to start World War III, to get NATO involved, because they know they can't win. And they were happy to sacrifice many, many lives for what, I have no idea, for the ego, or I don't know what people are dying for now. They're definitely, from the West point of view, they're dying to make Russia bleed, like they admitted, but it's certainly not helping any Ukrainians. And this guy's a fucking psychopath too. Look at this. Yes, it's NATO, and this is exactly the translation. It can be quite fun if NATO gets involved. This is the attitude of the leaders of Ukraine. This is why you have to talk about it. Okay, Johnny, you have to talk about this. This isn't propaganda. all these videos are things that are put out by the Ukrainians. Like all these videos, okay, so this, I'll bring this up later, but this is the Nazi camp video. Everyone can watch this documentary as well. I'll quickly play this. So prior to this war, this is the kind of things people were talking about.
In Ukraine, a far-right militia known as the Azov Battalion is holding summer camps for kids.
And there's Nazi symbology and everything, tattoos. So you can watch this documentary for yourself. But so it isn't. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's yeah, it's so sad that things have ended the way they are, but it's only going to get worse. And you're telling me that it's somehow my propaganda of wanting Ukraine to find a peace deal is going to cause more people to die? That your support, mindless support of the Ukrainian government, and I just showed you the video of the guy basically calling for World War III to start. You think that's going to cause less deaths than me calling for peace, for Ukraine to make a deal? Okay.
And it's really, really sad because a lot of people in Russia, and unfortunately now around the world, because they're so woke and they're like, oh yeah, I saw this photo of, you know, some guys with a Ukrainian Nazi flag. And it's like, and I've seen some of these photos. First off, their eyes are always blacked out, so we don't know who they are. Like anybody can just have a Ukrainian flag and a Nazi flag. Like anybody can print it. One of them looked like it was just printed that morning. So I just try not to even think about it or talk about it because...
So that photo, okay, that's an old photo, but I just showed you a bunch of more stuff. It's not just that one photo. It's getting back to this Nazi. It's the mayor that's been installed in a Ukrainian city with a photo of Bandera there, right? It's the massive Bandera statue that the Ukrainians worship at the feet of. And I haven't got a picture, but I've got there's a grave site. What's this? This is there's a grave site of the commander who initiated the massacres in Poland. And you've got the Ukrainian priest holding a ceremony there. So it's not just that one photo. This is Heroyam Slava. That phrase you keep shouting all the time. it's a Nazi phrase, Nazi saying. Okay, this is some old propaganda from World War II, and this is the history that you kind of need to know about. Is that while the part of Ukraine where I'm from, so my great grandfather was a partisan. So he fought against the Nazis. And the kind of medals he got all have the hammer and sickle on it. While the kind of medals that some people in the Western Ukrainians got were slightly different to the hammer and sickle. I'll just leave it that way. And unfortunately, like, I'm not down with the hammer and sickle. And you can watch some of my older videos where I talk about communism and I'm very critical of it. But for whatever reason, Ukrainians have embraced the Western Ukrainian heritage of fighting alongside the Nazis. They've embraced that history. And if you don't talk about it, if you don't talk about things like this, right? Black Sun again.
Сьогодні ми вшановуємо пам'ять загиблих воїнів, славетних синів України, які лишились вірні ідеї до кінця. Далеко не кожному з нас випаде честь загинути в бою у боротьбі за рідну землю. Це дійсно героїчний вчинок, притаманний найкоротший.
Okay. There's the black sun symbology again at the back. So if you don't talk about these people, these are the people who are currently sitting on top of these civilians, these kids. This video that they put out, that they want everyone to feel so sad about. If you don't talk about it, all these people are going to be dead. And I think the major reason why they don't want these people to be alive is so they don't tell their story. Is so they don't tell the lies that the Azov Battalion told them to say. Because they want to die heroes, and they want the Russia to look like the bad guys and to look evil. And for that narrative to unfold, these people can't survive. And if you don't talk about it, that's unfortunately yeah, I'm tearing up. Okay, let's hear him a little bit more.
What really is 100% certain is Russia invaded Ukraine and is killing civilians. That is 100%. And if anybody wants to talk about anything political, of, maybe they should have some talks about this, or maybe they should be stricter on not having neo-Nazis, in any regiment. Maybe they should, have some discussions about what to do in, XYZ place. I think it's great to have these talks during peacetime, and maybe it was not good to just have this conflict in the East happen for so many years without, having a solution to it. But the problem is now people are literally dying. So every day that people are keyboard worrying about, is President Zelensky actually a Nazi? Like, more people are dying. By the way, he's not. He's literally Jewish.
I am getting a video. 1 second. Yeah.
Зеленський. Чи змінилася ваша думка про нього?
Змінилося.
На краще?
Ну, в принципі, так, він такий виявився більш упертий і більш відморожений хлопець, ніж можна було очікувати. Бачите, ми от ніколи не вгадаєш, ми ж весь час помиляємося. От в цій ситуації виявилося краще. От я злився на український народ, як він міг обрати одним з національних символів єврея. Євреєм може бути голова Нацбанку, навіть прем'єр-міністр. Президент – це такий самий національний символ, як прапор, гімн і так далі. Він має бути національним, він має бути українець. Виявилося, що якимсь боком зараз найкраще, що він єврей, спробуйте пред'явіть зараз нацизм.
Okay. And there's more to it. There's Kolomoisky involved, the oligarch that made him rise to power, that funded the Azov Battalion, and his hatred for Russians. So there's a lot of interest involved behind the scenes. But if you don't understand, it's sort of like that short story that Hemingway wrote about this young guy in a hotel who wants to be a bullfighter in Spain. And he has all these fantasies about the lives of the bullfighters who are staying there. These grandiose, heroic fantasies he's made up in his head. And he ends up dying with that fantasy because of an accident that he has. And the point of the story is that he died in ignorance of the reality. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. People are dying in ignorance. People are pushing for more people to die by expanding this conflict. And this video is quite long. I think I'll just leave it at this point. I think I've been talking for long enough as well. And I hope I've made a good point. And I hope I made my point well. Because there are lives at stake. And it isn't my propaganda. It isn't the thing that I say that are causing people to die. It isn't not speaking about it now that the war has started. In fact, it is speaking about it. If the narrative changes, if you start seeing the Azov Battalion as the pieces of fucking dog shit that they are, the pieces of shit that are hiding behind civilians' backs, that are happy for these people to die because they're scared of the truth to come out. And it's not all of them. I'm certain that there are soldiers in the Azov Battalion in this bunker that are not happy with what's going on. that they don't want this to happen. And maybe even some of them are willing to lay down their lives for it. Maybe some of them already have and been taken out by the rest of the group. But whoever is calling the shots, whether it's the Ukrainian government or the commanders down here, they are pieces of shit, the way they are acting right now. So if we don't start calling that out now, these people will die. If we don't start calling out the Ukrainian government...
Проголосовать за человека с комплексом качеств, как у Зеленского, могли только упоротые долбоебы. Я другого слова подобрать не могу. И то я так где-то раз в 20, наверное, снизил лексикон, которым истинно было бы назвать. Мы находимся в состоянии перманентной войны с Россией, отсюда и навсегда. Как можно было в этой ситуации выбирать человека, который говорит, что война не находится в зоне моих приоритетов? Но есть такое понятие «выстрел в ногу». Это был выстрел не в ногу, это была очередь в тупую голову, но и она ни хрена никому не научила.
I'll translate the gist of this video. He's basically saying that, first of all, the people that elected Zelensky are morons, and he tried to find... He couldn't find enough negative words in the dictionary to describe how stupid the people who elected Zelensky are. And that he's not enough of a warmonger. That Zelensky said that he kind of wants peace, that he doesn't like war. That he's too soft. These are the real people in charge of Ukraine right now. And if we don't talk about it, it's not my narrative that is going to cause people to die. It's your narrative. It's your ignorance of the situation that is going to make Ukrainians die, it's going to make Russians die, and it's getting close to maybe Moldovans dying, and then who knows how many other people and how many other nations are going to get involved. I'll leave it at that. I think I've talked for too much. And yeah, I hope I make my point. I hope Johnny does take the time to watch this video, but I absolutely understand if he can't change his narrative, because he's going to very quickly realize and see a very different side of Ukraine if he adopts any kind of points of views that I believe I've reasonably made. And again, I welcome anyone to challenge me on any facts I presented or anything that I've said. Please challenge me if I'm wrong. I'm happy to hear you out. Okay guys, all the best. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.